Hello, my name is Carly Stoughton and I'm a technical marketing engineer with Cisco's NCMA business unit. Today I'm going to introduce you to the new ACI Optimizer tool within the Cisco APIC, our Application Policy Infrastructure Controller. This tool is available in APIC versions 1.1, 2H, and later. What the ACI Optimizer tool allows us to do is move to a more optimized workflow. Instead of a traditional workflow where we typically gather requirements for application and network and then go straight to a configuration on our gear, what we can do in the optimized workflow is gather requirements and then use the tool to do a plan and optimization phase where we can actually estimate things like how many policy objects I'm going to have, how many applications, how many tenants, how many endpoint groups, how many external connections, and this will actually show me, based on the number of objects I enter, what the resource utilization will be on my leaf switches. Then I can go to my configuration phase, knowing full well what to expect. The ACI Optimizer tool can be found under the Operations and ACI Optimizer tab. Here I've created a sample template called vCarly. It already has the common tenant shown, and I've created an endpoint group in there and a layer 3 out connection. What we do here is drag and drop what we expect our configuration to be for our environment. So I'm going to create a tenant here called production, and then I'm going to add endpoint group here. We'll say this is our web app. Maybe I'm going to have 5 different web apps in here. I can optionally specify things like the number of leaf switches I want this deployed on, ports, fabric extenders, type of encapsulation. Things I do need to specify are bridge domain, which I already have one created, and a label. The label I'm going to apply to leaf switches so I can specify which of these EPGs need to be present on which leaf switches, because it's usually a subset. For example, this could be to specify maybe my layer 3 out connections. Those EPGs should only be on a pair of border leaves. Optionally, I can enter things like the number of endpoints in this group I expect and the number of subnets so I can get a more accurate estimate of utilization. So I can create my endpoint groups using this template, and then I could create a contract. Maybe web is going to be providing services out the layer 3 connection. Enter the number of entries for access list in the contract and submit. Optionally, when I'm done with that configuration, I can specify a topology. If I want the tool to suggest one for me based on my resources, I can ignore topology and then click the deployment tab. Now here I can see that configuration is going to require 2 leaves. You can see the utilization. On the left it gives me a summary, number of objects, out of how many are supported, and a percentage of utilization. And then on the right I can see the actual resource utilization for things like the longest prefix match table, TCAM entries, number of VLANs, as well as what percentage that's going to be of the total resources on each leaf. Now, if I wanted to go back, I could go to the topology tab and specify a topology. Here I've entered 2 spines, 2 leaves. Maybe I have 4 leaves in my topology. I could add those in. Add 2 more. So that's the topology I want. And now I would see that spread across my existing topology. So this I could use to check and make sure that my topology will support these policy objects. So that is the ACI Optimizer tool, very helpful way to ensure that our configuration is going to be supported by our hardware. Please see cisco.com/go/ACI for more information. Thank you.